Today I'm ranking every single Piggy book one chapter. I know I'm late to the party, but better late than never. Some of you may be asking why am I not including book 2? Because I've never actually played it. But if you want me to rank book 2, comment down below. Anyway, please subscribe and let's get into it. Chapter 3 takes place in the gallery with the game not really having a story, except from the fact that you just escaped from the station and were trying to get away, but you end up getting surrounded by monsters. And that is my main problem with it. If this chapter was removed, then nothing would be affected. It is the most useless chapter in the game. So, that's why it's 12. Chapter 4 takes place in the forest when you just escaped the gallery. The reason why this chapter is this low, because the map is too wide. The map makes it so easy to survivors to escape, and the only thing good about it is the ending, where it gives you a cliffhanger. Also, Doggy dies in this chapter. Sorry for the spoilers if you somehow haven't played Piggy yet. Before we get to number 10, I found out that most of you aren't subscribed. So please subscribe for more videos like this. Anyway, let's get on to number 10, and that is Chapter 2 takes place in the station after you escaped the house. But once again, it doesn't really have any story to it except you meet Doggy for the first time. The map is okay, but the story is basically nothing. But it does start somewhat something, so I'll give it that. Chapter 8 is the carnival chapter, and many people consider this to be the best, but I don't think so. My main problem is that if you're Piggy, it is virtually impossible to win, and it is the most overplayed map in Piggy. I've played this map so much that I know where all the keys are, and can probably win only within a minute if I had good enough players. I'm actually starting to hate this map. I've played it so much. But the saving grace of this is that it is a very important chapter. This is where you meet Zizzy and Pony to help look for Mr. P. It is literally the only reason why it isn't more down in the list. Chapter 10 takes place in the mall. This is the chapter where you finally meet Georgie Piggy. The problem with this chapter is once again the map. It is just a giant square where it is hard to play when you're Piggy, but to be fair, it isn't as bad as some. Chapter 5 takes place in the school, and it is an important chapter. This is where you meet Mr. P for the first time. The problem with this chapter is the map. It is just one big square again, but this time with a few floors. But as you meet Mr. P, which basically sets up the story, this chapter had to go here. Chapter 7 is when you just escaped from the hospital and you are trying to find Mr. P. However, this is when Bunny finds out she will be infected because she drank a potion made by Mr. P. The story and the map is great, but unfortunately, there is other great maps, so it has to go here. And that leads us to the chapter before. This is when the story really starts to get good. Also, the map is great as well. When I say the story starts to get good, I mean that it really intensifies with Mr. P leaving you. This starts the Finding Mr. P story, and by this time, you're still trying to find Georgie Piggy. It is just a great chapter, but is just narrowly missing out on top 4. Chapter 9 is where you are with Pony and Zizzy after them finding you in the carnival. Now remember, this is the chapter before you find Georgie Piggy, and it is when you find out more about Zizzy and Pony. Pony wanted to follow in the footsteps of his dad, and Zizzy was a fencing coach. Now remember, if Zizzy and Pony didn't take you in, we wouldn't have found Georgie Piggy, so that's why it's so high on the list. So who is in the top 3? Well, before I go on to tell you mine, how about you comment down your favorites down below, or comment down the chapters you hate. Anyway, let's get on to the top 3. Chapter 12 is when the game finally ends. It is the pinnacle of the story, but the reason why it isn't first is because of the map. It is a slightly disappointing map, but country miles better than the ones down below. This is where you finally find Mr. P. It is also home to the second best map in the game. This chapter is maybe, if not the most important of the game. Not only is it the start of the game which sets everything up, it is the best map in the game. But anyway, guys, that is all. What do you think of my list? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.